Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 16 times 15. What we do in a number talk is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil, to try to solve this expression, and then we look at all the different ways we could have done it together. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and pause the video, figure out 16 times 15 in your head. When you have your solution, unpause it, and we'll look at all of our strategies together. So the first thing we could have done is we could have used the distributive property. Now this is the property that lets us break apart one of our factors into two smaller addends just to make it easier to multiply. We're going to get some partial products. So 16 times 15, as you notice, I'm going to take my 16. I just want to cut that in half. I want to do 8 plus 8. Now I'm going to multiply both of those by 15, but 8 times 15 is going to be a little bit easier for me to do than 16 times 15. So 8 times 15, that's going to be 120, because 8 times 10 is 80, and 8 times 5 is 40. Add those two up, and you've got another 8 times 15. So I'm just going to do two partial products, 120 and 120. Add those two together, and hopefully you got the answer 240. We can always do the distributive property with looking at it in place value. Instead of breaking up our 16 as 8 and 8, we can take a look at it as 10 and 6. So think of it like expanded form. So we're going to take our 16, and we're going to reimagine it as a 10 plus 6, and then we're going to multiply both of those addends by 15 to get our partial products. So we're going to get a 10 times 15, and so that's pretty easy. That's 15 with a 0, or 150. And then we're going to get a 6 times 15. And so we're going to have to do a little bit of math there. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 5 is 30. So that's going to get us 90. And then we've got 150 and 90. And we're going to end up always with that same answer of 240. Now, what if we kept our 16 together? And what if we split up our 15 using expanded form, that place value notation here, 10 plus 5. That will get us the same answer, but it's going to be slightly different math. So let's take a look. We're going to take our 16, multiply that by 10. So that's going to be an easy 160. And then we're going to add 16 and that 5. So 16 and that 5 is going to get us back to that 80, because we've already done that once. And once again, we're coming back up to our 240. Now, doubling and halving is a great strategy that you can use if one of your factors is even. So we're going to take our 16 and we are going to cut it in half. So I'm going to take my 16 and I'm going to say it's an 8. So that's why I'm going to get rid of this gray box right there. So in order to keep a balanced expression, if I want to cut one of my factors in half, guess what I need to do to my other factor? I need to double it. So I took my 16, divided it by 2. I'm going to take my 15, and I'm going to double it. That's why I've got two 15s. That makes 30. So 16 times 15 is the same as 8 times 30. That's how doubling and halving works. And so 8 times 3 is going to be 24. Add that 0, 240. And that's a pretty easy problem to do. We can also use the associative property. So this is our grouping property here. And what this lets us do is the grouping property lets us take a look at 3 or more factors and rearrange their groups. So right now I've just got two factors, 16 times 15. Let's reimagine our 16 as a 4 times 4. So it's not like the distributive property where we're making it addition. I just want to keep a multiplication here. So now I've got 3 factors, 4 times 4 times 15. And so all I'm going to do is shift the parentheses. I'm going to regroup. Instead of 4 times 4 first, I want to do 4 times 15 first. And that's what the associative property lets me do. So now I've got 4 groups of 15 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's pretty easy. That's 60. And I've got 4 groups of 15. So I'm going to skip count by 60s. 120, 180, and up to 240. And we can look at it a different way as well. If we wanted to keep our 16 together, we could reimagine our 15 as, let's call that 5 times 3. Now, we've got the associative property because I want to regroup. I want to put the 16 and the 5 together. But I really don't want 16 groups of 5. That'd be too difficult to draw. So I want to reverse the order. I'd rather do 5 groups of 16. That's what my commutative property lets me do. Just reverse the order of any multiplication factors. 16 times 5, 5 times 16, same thing. And I'm going to do the commutative property one more time. I'd rather do 3 groups of 5 groups of 16. There we go. I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 16. We've done 5 times 16 a few different times. That's 80. And now I'm just going to have 3 groups of 5 groups of 16. So I'm going to skip count by 80s until I get 3 times, and that's going to get me my 240. So those are just a few of the ways that you could have solved 16 times 15. If you found another way, that's great. Go ahead and drop that as a comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of the slide deck for your own use in the classroom, you can find it on my website, 5minutemath.net.